Welcome back to Chasing Shadows. It's been a minute. Way too long, actually. I haven't dropped an episode since before Christmas, and damn, has the world of weird kept spinning without us. Happy New Year. Or is it? Because while we were all stuffing our faces with holiday cookies and maybe some good drinks, seriously dark and bizarre stuff has been going down. Today, we're doing a catch-up special. A roundup of fresh mysteries and disappearances, cults, aliens, and ghosts. The stuff you come here for. We're starting heavy, then dipping into the local and the cosmic, and ending on a wild, what the fresh hell is this note that's literally unfolding right now. So throw on your headphones and let's dive in. Let's start with the one that's been weighing heavy on a lot of us. The tragic end to the Melodee Buzzard case. Back in October 2025, 9-year-old Melodee Buzzard from Lompoc, California, disappeared during what was supposed to be a simple road trip with her mother, Ashley Buzzard. From the beginning, things felt off. Surveillance footage showed them renting a car while wearing obvious wigs, and Ashley kept giving vague, shifting explanations about where her daughter has gone. Searches stretched across multiple states, and for months, there was still a sliver of hope that Melodee might be found safe. Then, just before Christmas, hunters in a remote part of Wayne County, Utah, discovered human remains. DNA confirmed the worst. It was Melodee. She had been shot multiple times in the head. Ashley was arrested shortly after and charged with first-degree murder. She entered a not guilty plea at the end of December, and prosecutors are seeking life without parole, not the death penalty, citing the crime as calculated and cold-blooded. Ballistics evidence reportedly ties ammunition from Ashley's home and the rental car directly to the scene. As of right now, a clear motive hasn't been made public, which only deepens the heartbreak and the questions. Cases of maternal filicide are rare, and when a disappearance mystery turns into something this dark, it leaves everyone shaken. Rest in peace, Melodee. Now let's talk about something a little closer to home for anyone in the Cincinnati area, or at least close enough to feel unsettling. The Cincinnati Enquirer recently published a major investigative piece on a group called Madison Place Community Church, based in the Madisonville and Mariemont area. A lot of you might remember them by their old name, Gladstone Community Church. It all started back in 2007, when Zach Kaczynski began hosting Bible studies in his apartment. Fast forward to today, and the group has grown to roughly 100 to 125 members living together in more than 30 church-owned houses clustered around Plainville Road. The living setup is intensely communal. Men and women live in separate homes with 8 to 10 people each, and everyone pulls their salaries into what they call a common purse. That covers housing, food, and daily needs. They even own a local business, a popular coffee shop called Madison Place Coffee and a raw chocolate brand, which double as a great spot for meeting potential new members. Former members who spoke to the Enquirer described a much darker side. Tight control over relationships, finances, and information, shunning for anyone who leaves, and often walking away with nothing after years of contributing everything they earned. Some stories about Zach's past have resurfaced too. Old acquaintances say that back in high school he was involved in something they called a vampire slaying phase. And as far back as 2009, there were warnings circulating that he could be heading toward cult leadership. The group quietly rebranded around 2016 after earlier negative attention. On the flip side, current members insist the community save them from addiction or homelessness and that the structure is exactly what they needed. So the big question remains, is this a genuine intentional Christian community or a high control group ticking all the boxes on the BITE model: behavior, information, thought, and emotional control? If you're local and you've driven past those houses or grabbed a cup of coffee there, I'd love to hear your take. Commune or cult? Let me know in the comments. All right, let's lift off into something out of this world. Many of you know the 1996 Varginha incident in Brazil, often called Brazil's Roswell. Witnesses reported a cigar-shaped craft crashing, strange creatures being seen by civilians and military personnel, and a swift cover-up. For years, it's been one of the most compelling modern UFO cases. Well, late 2025 brought some of the biggest developments yet. Thanks to an expanded version of James Fox's documentary, Moment of Contact: New Revelations. The standout new testimony comes from Dr. Italo Venturelli, a respected neurosurgeon who worked at the hospital in Varginha at the time. After staying silent for nearly 30 years, he finally went on camera, inside the very hospital, and described having roughly 4 minutes of direct, face-to-face contact with one of the living beings that was allegedly brought in for treatment. He said he touched it and experienced some form of telepathic communication. His description of reddish eyes and oily skin lines up closely with what other eyewitnesses reported decades ago. Fox also included fresh interviews with military and medical personnel who stayed quiet until now. With the 30th anniversary hitting on January 20th of this year, just a couple of weeks away, this case is getting hotter than ever. Are we looking at genuine government secrets and non-human contact? Or is there still an extraterrestrial explanation? Either way, it's stories like this that when you look up at the sky, it makes you say, I want to believe. Finally, let's cool things down with some classic spectral energy. One of the most notoriously haunted spots in Japan, the Kiyotaki Tunnel outside Kyoto, has been drawing more attention lately as haunted tourism ramps up for 2026. Built in the 1920s using forced labor, the tunnel has a grim history of worker deaths, accidents, and suicides that locals say cursed the place. Drivers report seeing apparitions in their rearview mirrors, hearing screams with no source, watching their cars stall inexplicably, or finding foggy handprints appear on windows. Some even claim a woman in white jumps in front of vehicles. The energy is so heavy that many Kyoto residents refuse to drive through it at night. Guided tours, both day and night, are booking up fast, taking visitors through the tunnel and nearby haunted bridges and temples with their own poltergeist reputations. More broadly, paranormal investigation feels like it's having a moment again heading into this new year. New YouTube series, TV specials, and grassroots ghost hunts are popping up everywhere. If you've got a favorite haunted location or personal encounter you want to share, send it my way. Listener stories are some of my favorite episodes to put together. And just when you think 2025 couldn't possibly end on a stranger note, we get this story that's still breaking as we speak. Down in rural Walker County, Alabama, near the tiny community of Empire, authorities carried out a raid on December 30th, right at the tail end of the year. The target was a small nomadic group of about 15 people who had come from all over the country: California, New York, Florida, Georgia, you name it. For the past 5 months, they'd been living in tents and makeshift shelters on private rented land off of York Mountain Road. Their leader goes by Londo, also known as Reverend Lamp. And he runs something called More Than the Prophet Ministries. Here's where it gets wild. Members of the group believe that Londo is the actual incarnation or reincarnation of Jesus Christ. In interviews and posts, he openly refers to himself as the only begotten Son of the living God. Before Alabama, they spent about a year in Arkansas, moving around together as a tight-knit unit. When law enforcement, reportedly with DHS involvement, served a search warrant at the campsite, things escalated quickly. Several members were arrested, mostly for refusing to provide identification to officers. Afterward, Londo took to social media with videos thanking local supporters, explaining that the group would comply moving forward, but describing the raid as overly aggressive and heavy-handed. This one checks so many classic cult boxes. A charismatic leader making divine claims about himself, followers uprooting their lives just to join him from across the country, isolated communal living, and now a dramatic confrontation with authorities. Is it a legitimate ministry, a harmless religious sect, or something more controlling? It's all unfolding in real time, so we'll definitely keep watching this one. So what do you think? Drop your theories in the comments or send an email. I want to hear every take. Stories like this are why we chase shadows. Well, that's our catch-up episode. Tragedy, control, aliens, haunts, and brand new bizarre. Thank you for riding out the hiatus with me. Stay curious, stay safe, and see you in the next one.